Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back if you're new here. So today it will be more of a different video than I usually do and talk about different kind of stuff. But we are here in Liberty Square here in the Magic Kingdom because of everything going on. Donald Trump just got reelected president, and me personally, I will never tell to y'all about politics or anything. Not going to talk about my political point of view, but enjoy it for what it is, because it is the Hall of Presidents, and also it was one of Walt Disney's masterpieces. And Walt loved America. I truly think if he didn't pass away and was maybe still around before he did pass away, I think he could have ran for president. He loved America. So we're gonna just enjoy the Hall of Presidents for what it is, not talk about anything political, and just enjoy it. So come along with me. And just are over here by the Liberty Bell. You gotta love this. I love America just as well as Walt did, and just everything it stands for. And let's go on to the Hall of Presidents. And here we go. Inside, 1787. Right now, going inside. Continuous shows 9 a.m. to 9:45 today. They do change these depending on the operating hours of the Magic Kingdom. Okay, now entering on inside of the little lobby over here. Also, this has the best air conditioning in the Magic Kingdom. The Great Seal of the United States. So awesome. And of course, we have different kind of portraits all different around. There's Jimmy Carter right there. Fun fact, where he used to live in South Georgia, Leesburg, it's 40 miles away where Jimmy Carter was born. I've been to his little boyhood farm out there and everything in Plains, Georgia. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty cool. There's Abraham Lincoln. Walt loved Lincoln. Some other pieces over here. We'll get to these all when we can. Let's walk around for a second. And here's some stuff from the first ladies over here. Eleanor Rosalind Smith Carter is Jimmy Carter's wife. I think it's very important to see all this. Over here is Caroline Harrison. And next to that, Dolly Payne Todd Madison, 1768 and 1848. Something about this evening gown. This is actually a reproduction right here, but this looks like it's actually real. Loan courtesy of the Benjamin Harris Presidential Site in Annapolis, Indiana. So this is real, but this is a reproduction. All right, here's our first little window over here. Public Lives, Personal Memories. George W. Bush. Texas Rangers. Barack Obama's basketball. That's pretty cool how that actually has a presidential seal on a basketball. I will say that. Jimmy Carter, fly fishing gear. Very cool stuff. The Roosevelt beers. They are real too. All right, here's our next Public Lives Personal Memories over here. Richard M. Nixon, Key to Disneyland. That's pretty cool right there. Benjamin Harris walking stick. James K. Polk. Took a little tea set or something right there. George Washington shoe buckles. Looks like that's real. Loan courtesy of Mount Vernon Ladies Association. Woodrow Wilson Golf Club. And let's see what's over here. There's some Ronald Reagan stuff over here. You gotta admit, that's pretty cool. Thomas Jefferson pocket watch. Wow. George Washington's plate. Lyndon B. Johnson letter to his granddaughter. James Moore, it's a scale and weight. And here we do have Franklin D. Roosevelt, fishing reel with box. We got some other shots over here. Some portraits I didn't see it. Thomas Jefferson, Woodrow Wilson, and Ronald Reagan. All right, so now we're going in. Try to be one of the last ones here. Big thing of George Washington right there. Walt Disney. Gotta love that guy. Great moments with Lincoln. That was like the first animatronic ever made. And of course, you do have some sculpts over here. Really quick. That's cool. Oh yeah. All right, let's now head on in. Not sure where I'm gonna sit. Maybe the front. Yeah, I'm thinking the front. Now again, you can film this, but no flash photography though. Very nice place to be.
His love for America inspired the creation of the Hall of Presidents, a place to celebrate the optimism and goodwill he saw at the heart of the American story. Walt's vision was to honor the nation by honoring the American presidency.
It is 1783, and the smoke is clearing in the wake of the Revolutionary War. Over the course of 8 grinding years, General George Washington has led a force of shopkeepers, farmers, and Native American allies to victory over the greatest military power in the world. A new nation has been born, independent and free. The founders must form a national government. In 1787, through months of passionate debate, they create a written constitution. For the country's highest office, they imagine something new in the history of the world. A leader not born to power like a king or queen. A leader who has not seized power through conquest. A leader not separate from the people, but elected by the people, from among the people. We, the people. This is a new idea, an American idea. The idea of a president. The people don't know exactly what a president will be, but there is little doubt who it will be. George Washington's stature and bearing have marked him as a leader. His integrity has made him a great one. Washington knows that many generals who have led successful revolutions make themselves dictators or kings. Instead, he steps down from power and retires to his home, Mount Vernon. The world takes note, and George Washington becomes the symbol of American ideals. In the first presidential election, it's Washington by a landslide. The only doubt seems to be his own. He writes, "Integrity and firmness is all I can promise. Integrity and firmness is exactly what we need." Everything he does as president will set a model for his successors. His final act may be the most important of all. After 2 terms, with no term limit in the Constitution and amid overwhelming support to stay in office, he steps down once again and hands power back to the people. He wants us to speak, to elect a new president. During the early years of the Republic, we choose leaders as different as Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and Andrew Jackson. Elections are often bitter. Each president stands at that fiery intersection where personal character meets the challenges of the times. Some call the presidency a glorious burden. Jefferson calls it a splendid misery. We, the people, must choose well. We elect 15 presidents before the course of history brings us to the edge of a crisis like no other. A a nation born of freedom still permits slavery. As the country pushes west, will new states be slave or free? The question produces bitter conflict. The issue rocks the election of 1860 and brings Abraham Lincoln onto the national stage. The tall, lanky, some say uncouth candidate from Illinois is a master of words at a time when speeches are printed in full for people to read. A house divided against itself cannot stand, he has said. With Lincoln's election, the House does indeed divide. Civil War. 11 states secede from the Union. The war becomes a defining passage in the American story. The president's own inner strength and depth of character changed the course of history. Lincoln had come up the hard way on the American frontier, desperately poor, with less than a year of formal schooling. His early years were scarred by tragedy, the death of his mother, his sister, his first love. He struggles with depression, but never loses his determination to rise above it. He once said he's driven by a desire to leave the world a little better place for having lived in it. The war rages. Lincoln fights to preserve the Union and end slavery. Neither is a sure thing. At Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, 6 months after one of the bloodiest battles of the war, the president dedicates a cemetery to the thousands of soldiers who died there, in words we can never forget.
Fourscore and 7 years ago, our fathers, to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
Badlands of North Dakota, he rethinks his life and the life of his country. He returns stronger in body and spirit. His renewed energy is just what his country needs. American industry is booming, but social tensions are rising. A progressive movement is bubbling up, pushing for change, and change is needed in the working and living conditions in cities. The gap widens between rich and poor. The demand for change grows stronger. Teddy Roosevelt is a knight on a crusade. He speaks with force and vitality in clear terms that make colorful headlines at a time when mass market newspapers have become the new media. To define his foreign policy, he borrows a phrase from an African proverb: speak softly and carry a big stick. But his greatest accomplishments are made at home. He breaks up giant monopolies, protects workers' rights, and calls for a square deal for all Americans, rich and poor, capitalist and wage earner.
Fair wage and a square deal for every man and every woman in the United States.
He calls on America to be as great as the natural grandeur of its lands. Keep your eyes on the stars and your feet on the ground, he tells us. And we do. When we elect our 32nd president, it is the worst of times. The course of history and the course of one president's life again shape a turning point in our national destiny. Franklin D. Roosevelt, paralyzed by polio, knows how to like a friend, a neighbor. His optimism is contagious. His voice perfect for the latest breakthrough medium, radio. He calls us to believe we have nothing to fear but fear itself. And we do believe.
Tonight's attacks on England are perhaps the most widespread of the war in the course of the day.
But an even greater challenge dominates his final years in office. The Second World War. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States of America. George Washington. John Adams. Thomas Jefferson. James Madison. James Monroe. John Quincy Adams. Andrew Jackson. Martin Van Buren. William Henry Harrison. John Tyler. James K. Polk. Zachary Taylor. Millard Fillmore. Franklin Pierce. James Buchanan. Abraham Lincoln. Andrew Johnson. Ulysses S. Grant. Rutherford B. Hayes. James A. Garfield. Chester A. Arthur. Grover Cleveland. Benjamin Harrison. William McKinley. Theodore Roosevelt. William Howard Taft. Woodrow Wilson. Warren G. Harding. Calvin Coolidge. Herbert Hoover. Franklin D. Roosevelt. Harry S. Truman. Dwight D. Eisenhower. John F. Kennedy. Lyndon B. Johnson. Richard M. Nixon. Gerald R. Ford. Jimmy Carter. Ronald Reagan. George Bush. Bill Clinton. George W. Bush. Barack Obama. Donald Trump. And now we come to the present. Once again, we place our trust in the idea of a president, as we have from the beginning.
My fellow citizens, no event could have filled me with greater anxieties than that notification on the 14th day of April, 1789, that you had selected me to lead our nation. But it was the confidence of my fellow citizens that I took an oath, 35 simple words that have been repeated by every American president throughout history.
I, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States, and I will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. So help me God.
The presidency of the United States is a role unique in the world, an office entrusted to each president by us, we the people. Therein lies idea, now over 200 years old. A new idea our presidents have turned into a great American idea again and again.
Alright guys, now heading on out of the Hall of Presidents. Great show. I love this thing. Well, alright guys, that was the Hall of Presidents. I don't think I ever filmed that much of it, but I really hope they don't take this away, because this is not only a piece of America, it's a historical piece of Walt Disney, because he loved America. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this. Well, it doesn't matter what kind of political party, and please do not comment anything about political parties. It's just like the joy for the attraction Walt has made for us. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed this, here's a big old thumbs up. Also subscribe for more future content. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.